today. Back now to you, Victoria.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Knife crime is an issue we've talked about on this programme time and again. For the people here today, it goes beyond just watching it on the news or reading about it. The women here are all mums, and they've all lost a son to knife crime. The youngest was 16, the oldest 28. For most people, for most of you watching right now, it is unimaginable. Your child, a teenager, perhaps on the cusp of adulthood, or a young man who was turning out to be a decent human being. Some of the perpetrators have been brought to justice, some haven't. These mums are here to tell you today why they're planning to march in central London and what they want the government, local councils, politicians and parents to do to stop other families going through what they have. I'm going to introduce you to all of them right now. Moya Griffiths is here. Her son, Jordan, was 20 when he died from a single stab wound that happened in High Wycombe. Peggy Cato's 17-year-old son, Champion, was stabbed 11 times in broad daylight outside a primary school in Forest Gate in London. Cheryl Armour-Trading's son, Antoine, was murdered in Leicester. Antoine was a dad of one. Tracy Hanson's 21-year-old son, Josh, was stabbed on a night out in London. Amy Morgan's son, Tyler, was stabbed through the heart. He was 16 when he died. Juliet Murray's 18-year-old son, Nathan, was stabbed to death outside a supermarket in London. Jessica Plummer from Finsbury Park in London is mourning after the murder of her son, Shakan, who was 17. Pauline Darcy's son, Daniel, was stabbed in a nightclub in Coventry in the early hours of Mother's Day. He was 18, and his sister, Sophie, is also here. Michelle McPhillip's son, JJ, was 28 when he was stabbed outside the town hall in Islington in London. Deborah Leonard's 22-year-old son, Alexander, was attacked in Birmingham. He was stabbed through the heart. Kay Green Stewart's son, Lamar, was murdered in East London. Lamar was 21. Elaine Donnelly is here. She is the co-founder of Operation Shutdown, and she'll explain what that is in a few moments' time. Karen Johnson's son, Ashley, was out with friends in Leicester when he was stabbed in the back. It happened last year. Also here is Lucy Martindale. She is an anti-knife campaigner. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming on the programme. I want to ask you to explain to our audience how losing a son affects you as a mum. Michelle.
Your life finishes. The moment your child's life's taken, your life finishes. You die at that moment with them. And mine was my only child. So therefore, I don't have other children around me. So that's the devastation. And whenever you've lost your child, your other children suffer because that child's the one that's constantly on your mind. So they lose as well. But the devastation is they pull the umbilical cord from you. They take away everything from motherhood to womanhood. And they just take away everything that's in your life. The only thing that keeps me going is the fact my son's perpetrators haven't been caught yet. So I get up every day and fight for that.
I totally agree. For me, Antoine was my youngest son. He had a good life ahead of him. He was a football coach, just about to get married and a father of one. And my heart's just been torn to pieces. My life never has been the same and never will be. And the only thing that keeps me going is his legacy and fighting so other parents don't go through this pain.
Who else can describe what it does to a mum when you lose a son?
For me, is the fact that Shaquan would have been that person, like he said, because I'm a sick person, and he said he was going to make me rich. Shaquan was supposed to graduate last year, September, and never got that opportunity to graduate. So the only one that graduated was my Chantel. But because of Shaquan today, I'm not going to say that I am happy. I am very poorly. There are days I feel like life is not worth living, but with the fact that we have other children outside, I make it my duty to go into schools and help other children alongside their parents, because I do not wish anybody to go through my pain, because it's just too much.
And for me, what I always miss is like when my son died, I'm Christian. I was thinking to go and touch my son to pray with him because I always like to pray with him. But the day my son died, I didn't get that opportunity to go touch his hands and pray for him because it was the corona body, which I'm not supposed to get near the body. I miss that every day. I wish I had that chance to touch his hands and give my prayer and let him know that I was there when he was going. But
You just want to see him.
yeah, for him to hear my voice, to hear that mom was there. But I miss that every day. And it's hard because I got other kids, which when I go to my daughter's house, when I go to the living room, what I can see, I'll see my daughter, since my son died 6 years now, but my son's picture is still in the living room, and she puts candle every single day. So which I don't know how to tell her, I don't know how to ask her to stop. And I got my other son, which is doing music since his mother died. So that's the way everyone go different, and it's hard because we cannot explain to them.
It takes away your future, breaks your heart. My daughter's getting married in May. It's supposed to be a really happy occasion for all of us. I feel no happiness, in anything. It's just taken away Daniel's future and all of our futures, as a family. She's getting married, but he's not going to be there. There's always something missing from every special occasion. That's the sadness for me.
I find I'm a shadow of my own self. I am not the person I used to be, and I will never be that person again. As you say, every day you just wake up because you have to. You become obsessed with work and other things that fit so that you don't have to think about the pain that you're feeling. It's very, very difficult. And it's not going away because each day you listen to the radio, there's another stabbing. So you have to empathize with that person. So you never get a day where you could say, okay, I could have a rest and forget. It's never going to be the same.
What did you used to be like, Julia?
A happy, very happy person. I'm the one that make everyone else laugh. But I will never, ever. I'm just like a shadow. I just wake up, get on with it because I have to. We have no choice. So we just have to keep going.
Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
You've got no choice, so you actually just have to keep going, even if you may not feel it work.
My son Duran, he was so long awaited. He was my miracle baby. I'm my only child. I waited 11 years for him to service in this world, for him to be taken so brutally, so callously. They have no thought of the devastation that it leaves in their wake. There's no remorse. And personally, I hate the fact that my friends here are having to go through all of this. It's been nearly 10 years for me in June. It's totally turned your life upside down.
How have you tried to adjust to the fact that your son isn't here over that decade?
I'm sorry?
How have you tried to adjust over the last decade to the fact that your son isn't here?
You have, but you have to. You have no option. You have to try and carry on. That's the last. That there's no grandchildren for me. I'm very fortunate that he has an amazing group of friends who support him, even now or this time on. There's a small core that I'm very, very close to. I see them having babies now, which is a wonderful blessing. But it hurts so much because I'm never going to be in that position where I'm going to have a grandchild that's part of him. my purpose is to create as much awareness about knife crime and any form of murder, actually, as possible, so other people don't have to be in the places that we currently are.
Amy, what would you say in terms of the impact on you for losing your 16-year-old?
It's just devastating.
Sorry. Honestly, you do not need to apologise.
It is soul destroying. Sorry.
You know what I think about this? Because I believe that we're living like robots now. We're not like human beings now. We are robots. Because we have to live every day, which we don't want to do things, but we want to be normal. We pretend to be normal. We are not normal.
Yeah, you're perfectly right. We're just functioning, get through the day. Yeah. Sophie was 13 when Daniel died. I've got to look after Sophie. I've got to get on. But it's heartbreaking.
I know, the 8-week-old baby when Tyler died as well. And he got murdered two days after his sister's birthday. So like her birthday will never be the same. Christmas was never the same. Everything, where you go, what you do, it's constant reminder.
And you don't get no support because yesterday Andre came to me and he said, "Mommy, I had this horrible dream." I couldn't help him when I look at his face. I just had to turn away from him because it's now 4 years and no support, no help for Andre or Chantal. The only person who stepped in was Tracy Hansen to help my Andre and my Chantal. And Andre again, that relationship with Brooke. And I am so happy that I met her. I met her at the wrong time, but I won't say it's wrong because this lady has lifted up my children, and Chantal and Andre look up to her.
How old are they now?
Chantal is 24. She graduated in 2016 after Shaquan's trial. She graduated with honors in science. She did biochemistry. And that was one of the happiest days for me. Andre did not have that opportunity because Andre didn't get to do his GCSEs, but I'm proud of my Chantal. And today, I am breathing or I'm leaving, and it's only because of them.
Yeah.
But Chantal is now working at UCLH and also waiting to do her master's, and she's now a clinical trial lung cancer research coordinator, and I am ever so proud of her.
Absolutely.
But I could not have done it without Tracy Hansen. Thank you so much, my friend.
Tracy, how did you help?
Met Jessica when we attended a march together that Stop Our Kids from Being Killed on the Street had organised, Stephen Brown, and at the time we were asked what we would like to say about what happened. Josh's funeral was 2 days before I went on that march, so we just had his final farewell, and profound shock, as all of us would have been at the time we were told our children had been murdered. I found myself just thinking we need to make a difference. In my son's memory, in every child's memory, and there was a group of mothers there at the time, and Jessica and I met that day, and ever since then, as well as a lot of the other mothers, we've become close through our experiences and the life-changing devastation that we've had to cope with. And I set up a charity in Josh's name, the Josh Hansen Trust, to reach out to other people and just give them some hope in the future and cope with trauma as well, and victims and families, and whatever I could do really just to avoid grieving.
Right.
We haven't had
try and do those constructive, positive things that keep you busy.
Just to make Josh proud every single day, every single day.
Yeah.
Because he would be saying, "Go on, Mum, go out there and do it." He was just a wonderful young man, and he was very kind and considerate and would do anything for his friends. That's how I brought my children up, and that's what I do as well. I just think there's not enough, there's too much room for anger and not enough room for love and compassion. And
I agree. Antoine was an inspiration in his community, helped a lot of people. He started a business at the age of 18 to help young people through sports and arts develop skills and aspire to their goals. And every day, like everybody in this room here, every parent that's lost out there, it's like a greyhound day that you repeatedly, you remember the scream the identification of the body, you remember the first thing, the hurts thing for me was I arrived too late. I wasn't able to say goodbye to my son. And then when I asked to see my son, I was told he's the property of the coroner. How can anybody tell a parent that? What does that mean? And there was no support there, no explanation. So we just got fed up of this killing. And so myself, we set up a charity, and then we've got an organisation, Antoinette Pond Foundation. We've joined with Sports East Midlands and a Pink Lizard and a good value organisation to do something to find a safe haven for young people, to develop skills to help them to have dreams come true. And we do that through arts and sports. And so we're going to get a play together, and we deliberately do a place that everyone could get in and develop the disciplines and the skills that's transferable. And then we're going to make that into a film and go around to schools. We deliver victim awareness workshops. No parent should have to be burying their child. And, you know, people out there, they don't know the perception that you have to go through.
We're going to talk about, sorry Julia, we're going to talk about, because we've got plenty of time this morning, and we really, we do want to talk about the ideas that you have to try and bring knife crime down, and the kind of message that you have for politicians and teachers and people who work for local councils, anybody who might be watching this morning. Let me read some messages from people who are listening to what you have to say today. Janet emails to say, my heart is broken over this matter. I cannot imagine the pain these mums are having to deal with. Raising boys is not an easy task. Mothers need support. Young men and boys are fighting a bigger battle today due to the lack of a father figure sometimes and higher social pressures. Amina says, this programme on knife crime is breaking my heart. It's extremely painful, but it's absolutely necessary to watch. David tweets this, parents and families on your programme this morning, it is harrowing and I am speechless. It should never happen on our streets in this country. Matt tweets this, it beggars belief that some kids keep arming themselves again and again. Someone has got to stop this. The parents are complicit in this. Matt is referring to the clip that we showed earlier. We're going to bring you the film in a few minutes. But support is needed from the police and other agencies. Jason tweets this, my heart goes out to you all. And Stuart simply says, respect to the mothers for talking today. We'll read some more messages. Wherever you are around the country, do get in touch, particularly if you have a pertinent experience. You can send us an email, victoria@bbc.co.uk. You can message us on Twitter, use the hashtag VictoriaLive. And before we bring you the film that we're going to bring you in a moment, does anybody else want to say something now about the impact on you and your family about the loss of your son?
Can I talk about my son? Was a mom.
Of course.
He was 21 years old. He worked for St Thomas's Hospital. He had never been in trouble before, and he went to a birthday party to celebrate his first permanent post at St Thomas's because he'd been a temp. And he was killed for nothing, for absolutely nothing. The night that we got the call, Lamar's a twin, my husband was up with his twin sister, saying that they had to go to East London. I will never forget that night, because when his dad left with his twin sister, I was told to ring the hospitals because we didn't know where he was.
What had you been told? Sorry.
I'd just been told that he'd been stabbed.
Right.
So we didn't know that it was fatal. We'd just been told that he was stabbed and he was in East London, and my husband left with his twin sister. And I rang some of the police, I rang 999. I got a very mundane police officer that said, well, there's something that's happened in East London, but there's not a fatality. And then I heard sirens. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm saying, why is those sirens so loud? And then the door knocked. And when I went downstairs, there was a policewoman outside my porch, and she said, Mrs. Stewart. I said, yes. She said, I have an instruction to take you to the Royal London Hospital now.
in a blue light. And I didn't know what to do. I rang my husband. He said, just get in the car. And it was the longest but quickest journey. I didn't get to see Lamar until he died. And we're broken. We're torn, we're ripped, we're broken. I have his twin sister, who is ripped apart. I have my other children. My 2 older boys are just functioning. His sister, the older sister, just like this lady, I go to her house. He's like a shrine, he's everywhere. She has an 18-month-old baby that calls his name every day. Lamar represented love. That's all he did. He just loved everyone. Everybody. Anybody that met him will tell you that he loved you. He didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it, and he was just killed, stabbed to death in his back. They ripped through his ribs. The viciousness of the attack was awful. We're just a broken family. Just a broken family.
I think you can see the pain in everyone's face.
Yeah.
If you look around at everybody, you can see it in everyone's face. The face is, you know, I could say it.
The problem is most of our victims, we have no say. Everybody just, it's like, I've gone to court, I've had the justice, which I don't call justice, and we are just pushed to one side. It's like everybody makes so much of the perpetrators, although they've taken that precious thing away from us, and there's nobody to really help us or the siblings. It's just like they take my son and it doesn't matter. Everybody just ignores us, and that pain will never ever go away. It causes more illness for you, more depression, more so many different things, and we have to rely on each other because we cannot give up, and we need to fight that fight in order for us to get our message across so everybody understand that we lost our children, yes, but we do not want any more. So we need to fight the fight together.
I want to talk to you about why you think there has been this rise in knife crime. And before we hear what you all think, I want to introduce you to one young man from Coventry who has carried a knife and a sword and a machete and now carries a saw. He says forgetting to carry a weapon is like forgetting his keys or his wallet. And he explains that he carries one because he is scared that someone might take his life before he takes theirs, as he puts it. And I'm also going to introduce you to his mum. She tells us that she has confiscated around 20 to 30 knives from her son. She searches his bedroom and bag every day, and she lives in fear that he could kill someone. And she's so worried about him being killed, she's actually bought him a stab-proof vest. Here's Noel Phillips' report, and there are parts of this that you might find upsetting.
A gruesome robbery in broad daylight. This shopkeeper in Coventry was targeted by 3 men with knives, including an 18-year-old boy who attacked him during a robbery. Last year, 3 people died having been stabbed here in the city. Very rarely do we hear from those at the heart of the problem. Young people who feel they have to carry dangerous weapons every time they leave their homes.
I don't want to carry it, I'm scared.
So you're carrying something with you right now?
Bigger than a knife, so if someone backs out a knife at me, I can back out this.
This is the brutal reality of knife violence. A teenager showing us the weapon he carries to protect himself.
I'm very desperate to get out because I don't want to end up dead as well, because it can happen to anyone.
As the authorities try to get to grips with the problem, this mother is fighting hard to stop her son carrying weapons.
I've confiscated this off him today. This potentially could take someone else's life. If they come at him, he'll take their lives.
Figures show nearly 700 young people were victims of knife crime here in the West Midlands in 2018. So far this year in Coventry, a dozen or so stabbings have been recorded, with the most recent involving a 14-year-old girl who was attacked with a pair of scissors. So why has it become so routine for many teenagers to carry and use knives?
first started to carry a knife at the age of 15 because I felt scared. But I didn't really want to, but I just felt like I had to carry it. And I was just scared and just worried that I might get stabbed. But it's just hard. It's just hard to see when you're scared that someone might take your life before you take theirs. So I just felt like I needed to have it.
A drug dealer at just 13 years old, Jordan, which is not his real name, has carried machetes, swords and kitchen knives. He says he's not part of a gang, but has grown up in a city where postcode rivalries means he's unable to travel to certain areas.
Do you still carry a knife today?
I still carry knives today, but I haven't got a knife on me at the minute. I got a bigger weapon now because I feel more safe with it, but I don't want to carry it. I'm just scared.
So you're carrying something with you right now?
Yeah, because I know it's bigger than the knife. So if someone backs out a knife on me, I can back out this.
Do you understand that by carrying a weapon like that, you could potentially hurt or kill somebody?
Yeah.
So why do you do it?
Just to feel safe. If I don't have it, I won't feel safe.
The police would describe you as a criminal for carrying something like that.
You actually feel sick in your stomach when you think about that type of stuff. It's like you're scared. You don't know what can happen.
Each time you leave the house, you have to have some sort of weapon in your pocket or in your bag.
Yeah, to feel comfortable. It's like leaving your keys or your wallet.
Despite the risks associated with carrying weapons, Jordan tells me self-protection is why he feels he has to be armed when on the streets.
He's had a machete, flip knives. I've just took away about 20 to 30 knives away from him. He even had a metal bar because he couldn't get hold of a knife. So a metal bar with a sharp end at the end. I've confiscated this off him today. I've searched his bag, took this. This is potentially could take someone else's life. If they came at him, he'll take their lives.
Jordan's mom has taken drastic measures to prevent her son dying or killing someone else. She tells me she often searches his bags for knives. We've protected her identity because she wants to keep her son safe.
I worry every day that the worst could happen, that he could destroy someone's life. I'm not prepared for him taking someone's life or someone taking his life. No. Why should either parents have to suffer that? No. So I will search him. I'll search everything. I'll continue doing that.
There are people who would say what your son is doing is essentially committing a criminal offence and you should report him to the police each time he decides to carry a knife. Why have you not done that?
He's defending himself. He's carrying a knife not to use it. He's just carrying a knife to stop people from using them on him.
So are you worried about your safety?
Yeah, very worried about my safety every day, if I'm being honest. The worst thing that could happen is that I end up dead or in prison for life.
A short walk from Jordan's house is a place where he comes to reflect on life. He says he doesn't want to make the same mistakes as friends who have ended up here. He's now desperate to leave Coventry.
So it's sad, man. It made me realise how serious life is. And it's not a joke, it's not a game, so... yeah, man.
How desperate are you to get out?
I'm very desperate to get out because I don't want to end up dead as well because it can happen to anyone.
We're buying a stop-proof vest and hopefully that will stop him, reduce him from carrying weapons.
At least I know if someone stabs me in my chest, then I can survive. It's like, it gives you a bit of hope.
The reason why some teenagers carry knives cannot be easily understood. A stab-proof vest is now Jordan's lifeline to protect him on the streets as the authorities continue to search for solutions to prevent more young people killing each other.
Well, we asked the government what they were doing to help combat knife crime, and we had this response from the Home Office. They told us tackling this requires action on many fronts. Last week we committed a further £100 million to tackle knife crime, including £80 million of new funding from the Treasury. Our serious violence strategy sets out the need for robust law enforcement, but also puts a greater emphasis on preventing a young person from taking a knife out on the streets in the first place. Although it clearly hasn't worked in the case of Jordan from Coventry. How do you react to the weapons that man was carrying, and also the way his mum is dealing with it?
Well, those are everyday weapons that you can pick up from hardware stores, etc., etc. This is where they need to bring the law in, that if you're buying a sharp object, pointed object, a saw like that, but these kids get cleverer and cleverer and find different ways of protecting themselves. My personal opinion of that particular show is that the environment that he's in, his mum's trying to protect him from that environment, and she's doing a very good job of it, from the sounds of it. And this is something that a lot of parents don't do. They don't check their children going out. But if she checks him and takes the thing off of him and then he does get stabbed, she's going to blame herself. Buying him a stab vest is not the right answer, because they're stabbing people in legs and arms, so you'd have to wear a body of armour not to get stabbed. So even these sports shops that are glorifying the sale of stab vests are not helping these young people.
So for you from Coventry, like Jordan and his mum, what do you think? How do you react to that?
I just find it disgusting that someone has to bring out a weapon to feel safe on the streets. I just find it's just disgusting. Like, I have to walk around that city every single day, and I don't feel safe as a girl. It's not just boys, it's girls. A 14-year-old was stabbed with scissors. Girl.
Yeah.
And it's just not the place I grew up in.
What about who else wants to react to that?
It's just a scary place now. The friends of my sons carry knives around the estate. I don't know if they do, because I had to move after, because Alex died on our front garden. And it's just this culture of fear that they're all living in, and bigging up against things, and, no, look at me like that, or what, just call me, and stupid arguments, moments of madness. And they're pulling out a knife instead of, the police chief said in Birmingham, fights that would be dealt with fists are now being dealt with because everyone's carrying.
Yeah. Lucy, you're an anti-knife campaigner. Why, an anti-knife crime campaigner, why do you think people like Jordan and many others are taking a knife out with him? I mean, it says because he's scared, and actually when it comes to it, he would want to take someone else's life before they took his.
That's correct. I work with a lot of young people in this situation, and it's not just one thing, it's a
complex, yeah.
Yeah.
But talk through some of the reasons from the people that you've spoken to.
Out of fear. I mean, every day we're seeing an increase in knife crime. Young people, before they leave their house, you'd normally pick up your mobile phone and keys. Now it's normal to carry a knife.
That's what he said. It's like leaving your keys or wallet at home. You don't leave.
It's literally
until you've got a knife
to do. And a lot of these young people, I don't believe they're killers or want to kill anybody, but research says